Hi class, so this is the first of 3 videos for this unit, and it's really just to try and support you more in your teamwork. So everything that I'm talking about here is drawn from Wolf's book, Team Writing, A Guide to Working in Groups, and specifically from Chapter 8, Troubleshooting Team Problems. I've posted a copy of this chapter in our Unit 4 folder, so you should really go back and take a look at that chapter. It's going to give you more detail on a lot of things I'm talking here, and even give you some examples of communications for dealing with some of these problems. So what we're going to do in this video is just look through a number of different problems that you might be encountering in your teamwork and think about how you might go about trying to solve some of these problems. So we're going to start with the biggest problem, and one that I've already seen happen, and I hope we don't have any more times, but it is an unfortunate side effect of trying to have a team-based learning environment, and especially one in an online course. Sometimes people just disappear. So this is probably the worst case that you're going to run into, and what you're just going to need to do in that case is notify me. Tell me right away that someone has disappeared, that you haven't heard from them for a while, that you've tried to reach out a few different times. So this already assumes that you've made some other efforts, but just tell me. I'll reach out myself, and if we don't get any response from them in a reasonable amount of time, I'll just tell you to go ahead and keep on moving without them, and that way you'll know that you are safe and that you're covered for that situation. So hopefully this doesn't happen anymore. I'm afraid that still might happen once or twice to a couple groups. Okay, so on to things that you can control a little bit more. What if someone misses a deadline? So this assumes that they're still in communication, that you're still hearing from them once in a while, but you all said that you're going to get some ideas, initial ideas for the team quiz down by X date or X time, and this person didn't turn anything in. So first of all, one of the best things that you can do in your groups is setting up clear schedules. This might be something that you kind of try out in this unit and that you revise for next unit and figure out which way you want to go with it. But figure out when you want everything done. If you want to plan for a couple days ahead of time. So everything's going to be due on Sundays from here on out, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily want everyone to do all of the work at the last minute. You might say, hey, it'd be great if we had initial answers on all the quiz questions by, say, Friday, so everyone has Saturday to review them, and then we can come back together on Sunday to really talk through them and try to make sure that we have the best answers possible. So whatever you do, try and set up a clear schedule. If someone does miss a deadline, try to take care of it right away. Send them an email right away, and see what's going on, see how they're doing, see if there's any problems that kind of came up that you don't know about. And the more that you can kind of promptly deal with these things, the more likely you're going to be to make sure that you're getting back on track quickly. If people continually miss deadlines, if you set up deadlines, have a clear understanding of them, people keep on missing them, again, please just contact me. I'll get in touch with that person, see if we can't work something out, see if there's any situations that are really causing them to miss those deadlines repeatedly. What about if someone turns in poor quality work? Well, this can be a fairly tricky situation because it's difficult to criticize other people's work, and it's even more difficult to get them to think about it in a way that's really going to build constructively on it. So it's not just telling them, hey, the work that you submitted wasn't any good, but really trying to help them move forward, help them build better work in the future, help them improve on this current work too. So a lot of this is just about being very specific. Specifically explain why you don't think the work was as effective as you'd like it to be. And it's best if you can reference some stuff, so it's not just based upon your own credibility and your own authority on the subject, but more based upon what are you specifically seeing within the assignment sheet, within the textbook, etc., that can help you really back up your authority on the topic. But in all cases, just try and be kind with them when you're doing this. Try and explain what you're seeing, but not turn into a judgment on them, but rather simply a statement about the quality of the work. Okay, what if you're working with your team and everyone wants to start doing something in a particular way and you really don't think that's a good idea? And then it just continues going that way and you're just unhappy about it. Well, one of the keys to this is really speaking up early. Once progress starts going in a particular direction, it's often harder to make changes at that point. So the earlier that you can get involved, the earlier that you can make sure that changes are being made, that things are going in the direction that you'd like to see it, the more likely it's actually going to happen. Because there's less momentum, there's less existing work that's going to be really more difficult to change. At the same time, if you really do want to see something a different way, expect that you should try to do a little bit of that footwork initially. It doesn't mean that you have to write the entire draft again or do any like massive type thing, but create something to show them the type of work that you want to see, or show them the direction that you want to go in. Often that kind of illustration moment, that little bit of evidence of how it could work better, is all that people really need in order to understand and agree with what you're suggesting. So take that extra step, take that little bit extra time, show them what you mean, and it's probably going to be a lot more effective for you if you run into that situation. What about if it's just basically you're working really hard, you want to see only the best work, you're encouraging people to do the best work, but the rest of your team just doesn't seem as interested in that as you? What do you do then? Well, there's a few different things that you can do. You can definitely reference the text that we have again, look at the rubric, look at the assignment description, try and show them the standards that you're seeing, and try and encourage them to hold themselves to the similar standards. But another thing you can do is you can reach out to me again. You can ask me to review certain sections or small segments of your assignments. I'm not going to be reading entire assignments and give you a graded version before you turn it in, but I'm more than happy to take a look at sections, give you an idea of my overall feelings on it, give you an idea of what I think might be working or might need some more work. And sometimes just the outside perspective can also try to, can help to get people on track with really living up to the quality of work that you're hoping for and expecting. Okay, what about if you are posting some stuff, you're expecting everyone to go through it and give some feedback, really try and improve it, and you're just not seeing that happen? Well, sometimes this is going to require some additional efforts too. You're going to need to start setting up some specific questions about the drafts. You're going to need to establish some deadlines in order to give everyone time to work through it. You're going to need to perhaps even try to set up a synchronous meeting. I know these can be really tough with your different schedules. I'm not trying to suggest that that would be easy, but in some cases, just those kind of more direct conversations can make a big difference in getting everyone on track. And they don't have to be long. Sometimes you can do those types of conversations in 10, 15 minutes and get everyone moving in a good direction going forward. But also do realize that some of the stuff takes work, that some of it takes a little bit of extra effort, and you can even plan for this type of stuff in your collaborations. If you say, well, you know, this person's role really needs to be around setting up some of these structures, and they're going to create some content, but their focus is going to be more on other types of facilitation measures, on other types of efforts in editing and efforts in trying to organize stuff. That is completely acceptable in terms of the way that this class works. You need to find ways to create structures that helps your team do the best effort and the best work they possibly can. And this doesn't always mean that you just split something up, 5 different ways and have everyone do 50 words or 150 words or something like that. Sometimes there's going to be other structures that are going to really help you build the best work possible. So, final question. You're in a situation you want to give feedback, but you don't really know how to give good feedback. I think this is a situation that we all encounter at some point where we just don't really know what to say. In that case, you probably just need to go back and do some additional research yourself. Look at the assignment sheet, look at the textbook, look at the case, since we're working with cases here, and really think critically about what needs to be there for this. What are the characteristics of the audience that you really need to pay attention to? What are the characteristics of the document type that you need to pay attention to? What really might affect whether this document is successful or unsuccessful? Take careful notes and then use these notes as you look back through it. Look for certain qualities, pay attention to specific things, and the more that you do this type of work before you go in and evaluate the document, before you go in and study what everyone else has done, the more you're going to be able to give specific and valuable feedback on it. So, I hope this video just gives you a few ideas if you're running into some situations or some problems. Like I said, do go back to the scan of the text which I posted in the Unit 4 folder. That should help you fill out some of these areas and should be a valuable resource to you going forward. I'm going to come back with 2 more videos on our 2 main content areas for this unit, on definitions and descriptions, and on analyzing your audience.